Mum! Dad's got another tattoo!
How old does a quarter pounder with cheese make you? Going on a golfing holiday not to play golf? And answering a question about pool tables with a 12-minute story about tattoos as we navigate midlife. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Mum, Dad's Got Another Tattoo. I'm Mark and I am joined once again by my co-host Richard. Hello Richard.
Hello, how you doing?
Yep, very good, thanks. And we'd like to hear from other people as well, so you can get in touch with us at dadsgotanothertattoo@gmail.com, and we're at Dad's Got Another Tattoo on all the social media platforms that are not run by open Nazis. So if you want to... If you want to get in touch with us, you can do it through the normal channels. I'm sure you'll be able to work it out. So how has your week in midlife been, Rich?
It's been good. Well, today's been good. Yeah, it's been trials and tribulations of business. But, yeah, no, it's been a good week. Good week so far. Weekend was eventful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my mother's at that age where you can have a fall. You don't fall over, you have a fall.
Yeah, I'm still very much in the falling over category at the moment. Yeah. But she had a fall, did she?
She had a fall. There's a problem with the waterworks outside. I mean, they've dug the whole road up. You're talking 18 inches from their front door. There are barriers, there's sandbags. They were talking about completely closing the close and moving them out. That's how the works are. Somehow she's had a fall. And
what over the the work that's been going on?
More that I think she was so focused on the work. We've told her they've got these ridiculously steep steps going from their front door, which is lower than street level, to there. And I really didn't get into that part. I was just like, oh, fuck, that's my day. She's had a fall. Let's just deal with the problem. And but she had a knee replacement about 6 months ago. She went over on that and on her side. And I love my mum dearly, but if another world, I wouldn't like to be back to back with her in the trenches. I mean, she's not one to minimise an issue.
No.
So there was hospital trips. Then she demanded an X-ray.
Right. Okay.
Nothing was. Unsurprisingly, nothing was broken. I said, "You're moving. It's okay. It's muscular. You've jarred stuff." I understand. 8:30 the next morning, I get a phone call. I've got an X-ray appointment. I'm like, what? Then why did we have a half an hour conversation last night?
Yeah. But and did this take up anything? I know you said you were looking forward to a bit of you time as wife and child was away.
And child were away.
And did that eat into that a little bit as well? It's just one of those things that you have a lovely afternoon planned and then something happens.
I mean, you say lovely afternoon. I was going to watch sport and sit around the house. That's a lovely. Maybe hit some golf balls. That was the plan.
Yeah, I think that qualifies. That qualifies perfectly in the lovely category.
It's one of those things where it's my zen place. I put my headphones in, listen to loads of rubbish music. I just whack golf balls. But luckily enough, because of it being a weekend, there was not much we could do. So I managed to leave the parents at the hospital, come away, and then go and pick them up again. So it wasn't too much of a disruption apart from all the admin, getting her in hour or so there, making sure they're okay, surrounded by the great and good of the Midway Kent area on a Sunday in A&E. But yeah, no, it was good.
All right. Well, I'm glad that she's on the mend and nothing serious happened.
No, she's on the mend now. She was a lot better today.
Okay. Now, following on from the end of last week's episode, I wanted to have a little cock ring update, which is a sentence I didn't think I would be saying to you a couple of months ago, but here we are. Have you had it on? Is the
yes. The issue I've had is, I mean, when I say time, I mean how much time does it take up wearing a fucking piece of rubber around your old boy? But it was more syncing up the app, and then I had to do the updates, and it sort of got by the wayside. But as of yesterday, it's all synced up. I've worn it. Do you know what? Surprisingly comfortable. And let me tell you something. I'm not displeased with the results.
That is interesting. And now, are those results? How to put this? In
I'm going to use one word.
Go on.
Angry.
And has this been on the battlefield, or is this just in
no,
barracks?
not yet. Not in barracks. Just a dry dock run, shall we say? But yeah, it was. It's one of those things. Because it says you can wear it overnight. Like, well, I need a couple of. When I sleep. You know that I've fallen asleep and melted my skin on radiators before and had blisters. I'm
You're
the heavy sleep.
Quite a deep sleeper.
When I'm asleep, I mean, I'm out. So I thought I don't want to wake up and it's falling off. So let's give it a dry run. Okay. Also, I found sitting with it is not ideal.
No, all right, okay, no. That's good to know.
Sort of stretches things in the wrong areas, but yeah, surprisingly comfortable.
Okay, and the app, also, is that like the health measurements as well? Have we got any baseline figures yet, or are we yet to see that?
Simply got it set up. I mean, let's just have a quick look now while we're here. Firm Tech. I mean, the first thing it says is my erectile stats, which is quite jarring. But it says, okay, it gives you an average firmness score.
Okay, from what to what? What scale are we talking about here?
I mean, at the moment, it's 0.0, which and it's got sex and solo, so that's interesting. Maybe we could. I know which category is going to be higher. You know. Love my wife, God bless her. Average nocturnal erections per night. Well, this is going to be.
I believe that is the number one measurement for it. If you listen to our friend of the show, Brian Johnson, who inspired all this stuff, I know, say a bit of nominative determinism there. that is actually a pre-marker for cardiac health.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
Maybe if you do have problems in that area, like the heart area, then it shows up in your cock first.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? So yeah, as of tonight, I will be wearing. I'll put this on for a week, and let's get my average erection score, which is a sentence I never thought I'd ever say.
Well, I'm torn about what happens here. So, obviously, from my position as your dear friend over many years, I hope you are in perfect health. As a podcast now content creator, I hope you're just about to have a heart attack, and this is the early warning system that saves your life.
The problem is now, as we've said on this before, is we now think in content. The amount of times we just message you something and we either write hashtag content or hashtag not content is remarkable. I think it's on the end of everything we talk about now.
It is indeed. And there's been some no content stuff this week, but you never know. We're in our early stages, so I might have to mine that particular seam as we run out of steam in the next couple of weeks. But, I think we're doing all right, actually. We've coming up, we're going to have some guests as well. We've had some interviews that have already taken place, and we're going to publish and broadcast those as and when. And at least one of them is an actual expert in the field in which we're asking about for certain, which is the testosterone replacement therapy doctor. But he'll be on in a few weeks telling us about that, and I'll be comparing my journey. I've done that. We haven't spoken about it in depth yet, but can tie that into that. And I know, Richard, this is something you're interested in, but a little bit nervous about. Is that the right way of saying it? Maybe not nervous is the right one, but there are questions that you want answered.
Yeah, I say that 90% of it I see as a positive. Reading up on everything and looking at case studies, and so many more people are on it now. It's quite, anecdotal evidence is quite widely available. But it's not so much that I have a doubt. There's just one glaring question that, okay, not necessarily affecting myself, but one glaring question about the fact that once you start, that's a road you're on for life.
Yep, that is certainly true. That's certainly true. That is a question I will put to our guest at the time, but that is definitely true. We have actually had a question coming from our devoted listenership about this, which was asking me if I had to rank the three things that epitomise my midlife crisis the most: testosterone, tattoos, Ozempic, Monjaro. If I had to rank them in order, like what would I definitely not give up to, what could I live without? I think we've had over the last week or so a case study of where I rank that. So I have frequent blood tests as well, which I think is a good thing, especially at this age. Can be good to monitor your health in that way, and to get an accurate reading, I have to come off for it for a week. No biggie, and that's not enough time for anything massive to happen. You don't get any side effects, anything like that. But I was reluctant to do it. I even thought about not doing it and defining. Yeah, because I personally have had a great time. Now I do know someone else who has had an okay-ish time with it, and I think that is part of. If you do have a good time of it, like I have, you can start evangelizing about it and say how brilliant it is, and it can sound like a bit of a magic potion. But I think the difference in experiences is that I had actually sorted out a lot of lifestyle stuff first. So diet, exercise, sleep, stress, all that sort of stuff had been addressed, and then I looked into it, and then I went on the started the therapy, and I've got all those great benefits. However, if you haven't addressed that, I don't think the effects are as potent. If you're still drinking, if you're still really stressed, not saying that it's not incompatible with having a beer every now and then, but if you're a frequent drinker, it will affect your sleep. It will affect all sorts of hormone levels anyway, and you might not get the benefit of that. I'm not an expert. I will ask someone who is in the next couple of weeks, as I say, but that is my experience has been super positive, and I'd be loath to give it up.
That's a good one. And I always think with something that is ultimately a life decision.
Yeah, it is.
Me personally, I know everyone's in different situations, different stages of their midlife. Not midlife crisis, but midlife stage of life. Journey. But I think with something where it is something you're making a commitment for life. I mean, bloody hell, dog's only 14 years, 15 years. But if you're making that, getting the foundations in place before you start that is essential.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I think a lot of people get on it and thinking it's going to be this brilliant experience, which it may be. I mean, a lot of it depends on how you naturally respond to it. I appear to have responded really well, which is and I was actually disappointed in my dosage that I was prescribed, because it was much lower than a lot of the people. If you look at Reddit, the number one medical resource at the moment, but there's a lot of American clinics out there, and they will prescribe 200 milligrams as a starting point.
What are you on? What did you start on?
I started on 90, and I'm currently on 80, because I responded so well that my numbers were starting to go super physiological. That's the right word. Anyway, like sort of above what. Yeah, obviously doesn't affect your lips and your teeth. But but when they first said, all right, we're going to prescribe you 90, I was like, what, 90? That's a bit crap, in it. But I'm so glad I didn't, because I think I was right on the edge of sort of side effects. So if you go too high, for example, then it doesn't happen in isolation. You have like estrogen levels, you have other ways that the body converts testosterone into other substances. Again, not an expert, but that's where, the archetypal, your hair all falls out and you go really spotty that you might know from, say, bodybuilder steroid abuse, which typically starts at 500 milligrams a week and can go much higher than that. If you don't keep on top of that, all the mood swings, roid rage, all that sort of stuff is a result of it being too high rather than just injecting some external.
I never knew. I always thought there was other stuff they were taking with it. I never knew it was just pure. Yeah.
Often there is. There is. But you can, as this is not a recommendation, but if you look at steroid forums, they will say start with just testosterone, but at 500 milligrams. Now, at 90, so my blood pressure was a little bit higher than it was. Not high, but higher than it was. Hematocrit, like how thick your blood is. If anyone followed cycling in the 90s, they'll be familiar with this measurement, where some of them were above 60%, which is quite high and basically means your blood is like jam. Mine was creeping up as well at 90, and every now and then I get a little tingling in my nipple, which isn't as good as it sounds. So and that is really the sort of downside of it. Now, there are other drugs you can take, like I think they're called aromatase inhibitors, because the way that testosterone is called aromatizing, again, this is not medical advice because I'm not even sure that's the right word. But anyway, the way that your body processes that is different for everyone, and is probably based primarily on your genetic profile. So I'm now on 80 and knocking along perfectly fine. Post Christmas, I've gone back to Manjaro to aid with a bit of weight loss, and so from that question, number one, testosterone, without a doubt, and I'd be really loath to stop it, given the benefits. So next is between tattoos and the old weight loss jabs. If I had to choose between one or the other, what would it be? Now, we had another case study of this just last week, because
new tattoo.
If you head to our Insta, you'll be able to see it. I've got a new tattoo, and it was the day after I was scheduled to have a weight loss injection. However, they do say eat well before you have a tattoo, sugary drinks, good breakfast, because otherwise, like, you can be in all sorts of problems.
Let me guess. You being you, did none of that.
You're right. I'm a very good little tattooer. Not least because
I'm surprised.
That's because you haven't realised what happens if it goes wrong. So if it goes wrong, you can, like, your body can go into shock, and you can start shaking and all that sort of stuff. So it can, and at worst, you can do a Rich at the hospital, pass out and piss yourself.
Piss yourself.
Yeah, and so as good as that is for content, I'm not ready to do that. So I delayed it so I could have like a normal day of eating, and took a full fat Diet Coke with me to keep sugar levels up as they recommend. Now, who knows? This could all be our wives' tales that all tattooists pass down from one generation to another. Don't know, but it's worked for me, and so it's now like my lucky combination of a grenade protein bar and a full fat Coke sees me through.
When you say grenade protein bar, you don't mean like the 3-inch ones for about £6 from Tesco. They're winding me up at the moment. Because what's with the small grenade bars now?
That is true. I've seen that as well. I thought I was when I first saw them, I thought I was going to faint. Because I thought, oh my God, my vision's going. But it turns out they've got these silly...
half the size.
No, I eat quite a lot of these, so I got a subscription and get 12 in a box sent to me for about 18 quid, rather than of the full-size ones, rather than these little fun-size ones. Nothing fun about it, but for like £3.50.
I'll buy 4 of them.
Get yourself on a well-known internet wholesaling distributor, and you can subscribe, and sometimes they're like 12 quid for 12.
Moving on, just before I forget, you messaged me the other night and said, pool table.
Oh, right. This actually came to light on my tattoo day, because... You know how sometimes, how your planets fell out of alignment at the weekend, and you had to. Yeah. tattoo day, they were all marching in perfect sync. It was one of those days that comes along and you think, oh my God, if only every day could be a little bit like this, it would be amazing. So I booked my tattoo appointment for 4 o'clock, inside office hours, and, you know, made it out in time, went down there, got a tattoo, and then I had a message saying I've got a spare ticket to a gig, which is just down the road from it was amazing. So yeah, on one Thursday afternoon, do you remember the old Thursday afternoons? To Thursday evening, I went and got myself a tattoo, which very happy with. Mike Boyd, visiting from New York, did a lovely sort of pop art version of the traditional take on a Sacred Heart tattoo. Now on my inner bicep. Now I was a little bit nervous actually about the inner bicep. And I did.
Does it hurt as much? Because people say, "Oh, the inner bicep, lower back, places like that are more sensitive." And
I said to the artist, "Is this? I'm a bit nervous about this one." He went, "It will tickle a little bit," which, you know, put the fear of God into me. Actually, in the event, it's the easiest place I've had so far.
Really,
barely felt it. Barely felt it. Could have sat there for another 2 hours, easy.
That's because people always say, back in the day when, God bless Pamela Anderson, when everyone was getting the barbed wire tattoos, everyone's, it didn't half hurt on the inside. But yeah, no, it didn't. No, it
didn't hurt at all. So that, of course, has freed up the other bicep to be, which is currently a blank canvas. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go for that now. That was fine. The worst places I've had so far are top of shoulder, which was more of a time thing. I think like took about 4.5 hours, and like one there going over it in different, because I have quite colourful ones as well. It takes a bit of work to get the colour saturation in there. And after about 4 hours, I thought, you know what, I've totally had enough of this. Then the ones I've got 2 on my forearms, and as they get down to the wrist, it gets a bit spicy. And I've got one that goes actually into my elbow ditch, which I've only known as a term since I've been looking into tattoo.
I've never heard that.
No, but, you know, the sort of, you know, like the arm version of the back of your knee, in the elbow, where it bends, elbow ditch.
The arm gooch.
The arm gooch, that's a good way of putting it.
Right, dear listener, I'm just going to say this will be a pattern moving forward. I can see it because I've known Mark long enough. I only asked about fucking pool table. Oh, here we are. Well, what's with the pool table?
It all linking.
Okay.
Don't worry about this, because you know, I've got a narrative. I've got a narrative. It's all about the narrative. So anyway, elbow ditch fucking wrecks, right? It's absolutely disgusting how much that hurts. Now, I am reliably informed, and there's no one that says, "Oh, mine was fine." Ribs. That is meant to be. That's the final boss.
Yeah.
Or maybe like you see some people who are bald have the top of their head done. Not for me, but
I mean, if we get, I would like. I'm going to pick an arbitrary number. If we get to say, fuck it, 1,500 listeners.
Mm-hmm. I can listen to this 1,500 times. Easy. Yeah. Go on.
I want you to get a W on each arse cheek. So every time you bend over, it says "wow."
I don't know. The thing is about the arse cheek is that I want a big piece that comes like that.
You've got a big piece, son. Don't you worry about that.
Well, I haven't got the £200 cock ring, have I?
I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. You know what I mean?
So
yeah, £200. What was I thinking?
Content, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, content, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
So I went to a gig afterwards at a place called the Seabright Arms, which has a place in my family folklore, which is where my mum and dad met. Yeah, it was like so it's in Bethnal Green. I think it's gone through loads of iterations over the years, but in the late 60s and early 70s, it was where them and all their mates went out. No confirmation of whether I was actually conceived there, but I don't think so. But it's
in Trap 3. That's a romantic story, isn't it?
Well, I did go for a piss, and I thought, I wonder how close I am to.
Were they in the pub the night George Cornell was shot, because as far as I'm concerned, everyone in that area was there. That pub had 65,000 people in it that night.
The capacity of the Blind Beggar in Bethnal Green, about 3 million. It's about the same size as a balcony of the embassy, the Iranian embassy that got stormed in 1980 or whenever it was.
Every member of the SAS was on that balcony.
Yeah, a few that weren't as well. So anyway, pool tables.
Yes, let's get back to it.
I'm not sure this is worth it actually, but pool tables, they've gone contactless.
Which way?
You don't put a pound in the slot anymore, or 50p.
No. I'm sorry. This cannot happen because right. This is it. This is my breaking point. I'm going to go curmudgeonly from now on, because the rule of thumb is the international sign is, I'm next, you put the quid on the table. So what do you do now? You don't put your cash card there. Some loaf's going to be buying hoochies at the bar.
Do you know what? I didn't get that far. I mean, I appreciate that. The same thought crossed my mind. How do you establish the queue? I'm sure there's a fucking app or something that everyone has to do it through your phone. But you're right. But that's the sign of civilization as well. I'm putting my pound down, right? And everyone should know.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows what that means. I don't know.
Like when Souness put the flag in the centre of circle, Galatasaray. You know, you put your marker down. You casually walk up. There's no one there. Pound next to on the table next to the slot. Everyone goes, "This gentleman's next." What do you do now?
Don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Which would
chaos.
Maybe it was chaos. Pool tables weren't actually in use because there was a jazz act going on, which a friend of mine came to the gig and actually missed the support act because he thought the jazz quartet upstairs was the support act. So he was looking around going, "This is not the crowd I was expecting." That's because we were all in the basement.
Heaven forbid a pool table might upset the acid skiffle.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not sure whether your elbow coming back to take a shot, knocking the saxophonist would, to my untrained ears, I thought, that bit sounded good. But yeah, so they weren't in operation, and I can't believe that they have gone contactless before the fucking supermarket trolleys, which still resolutely stand. Like the amount of times I've gone round Sainsbury's with a basket that weighs about 45 kilograms because I haven't had a fucking pound to.
I stood in Morrison's the other day. If this CCTV ever come, they must have had a laugh. The security team somehow, I don't know whether on purpose or by accident, had managed to wrap the short chain around the handle of the trolley in front. Now, no one carries cash anymore, let alone coins. So I purposely keep a pound in the car for this very moment. So that's very
disciplined of you.
You've got to do these things. Otherwise, no. The only reason I do that now is because after the 10th or 12th time you've driven all the way to the supermarket and you've gone, I got no wrapping change. You keep one in the car, but you only keep one. So I've then gone up to the thing, put the pound in, and because the actual key part is quite long and the chain's quite short, it's gone round the arm so far where I couldn't physically get it back. So there I am, like Jeff Capes, there's one for the kids, trying to lift this like they're all linked up. There's about 20 or 30 trolleys, trying to lift it up so I can get. That needs to go contactless.
Yeah, contactless trolleys, yes. Pool tables, no. I mean, no. Does seem a bit curmudgeonly to moan about that. I mean, I'm a big fan of contactless. I still get a thrill out of doing it from my phone.
I thought you was about to say I'm a big fan of being a curmudgeon.
Well,
I agree with that.
Has been known and levelled at me that might be the case. But yeah, so I went to a gig in the basement of a pub. So two bands. The support was called the Manatees, who were supporting someone called Tom A. Smith. Now, Tom A. Smith can accurately be described as the Sunderland version of Sam Fender. So a little bit harder, a little bit grittier, not as famous. But maybe that'll change. And their support act was called the Manatees, another band I'd never heard of. But they were really good. I really liked them, and I think I'm going to go and see them again at a place in London Bridge in October. But, I mean, when we're talking about gig, this is proper level 1 gig stuff. A basement of a pub, probably about 80 people there. And I was standing next to this woman, maybe in her mid-50s, who was dancing along, knew every word to every song. Well... I asked her, I said, "Are you a manatee, mummy?" And she was. She was the lead singer's mum.
You love that. That's great.
It was. I was a little bit worried as well about that. I've been to gigs many years ago in pubs where it is so fucking loud that it's actually an endurance test to be able to. Yeah. All you can hear is the drums and the bass and, you know, someone shouting along. But to be fair to this little place with a low ceiling, it was actually really good. I had a really great time. Recommend the Manatees. They're a sort of pop, indie poppy rock band, sort of 1975, but no, not quite. So I really liked it, and standing there with a load of cellophane round my arm as I recovered from the tattoo. But a great night, great venue, great day, all worked out perfectly, and you don't get many like that. So I also have to make a complaint about my dad's appalling WhatsApp etiquette.
I will not have a word said against the big TC.
Well, wait until you hear this. So many times over the years, I have phoned, messaged him with pleas for help of one to one degree or another. All the way,
financial or otherwise. Yeah.
Financial, often financial. One memorable occasion where I was at a Christmas drinks in the city, and I just sort of walked to what I thought was going to be Liverpool Street Station, and I mean, it was Christmas. It was about 2 a.m. I somehow managed to find myself outside Holborn Station, and I knew it was a bit of trouble when they were bringing the shutters across, saying, "Sorry, mate, it was shut." Yeah. Now, my dad used to be a black cab driver, and I lived about, I don't know, half an hour outside London at the time. So on a wing and a prayer, I give him a ring, I say, "Are you working? Are you going going to Essex, basically?" And to my utter dismay, he said, "Yep, I'm going right past your house. I've got a fare in the back, though. Just check to see if it's okay." And they were on a corporate taxi ride, so they'd been at their company do.
So they were 3 sheets to the wind.
So they were 3 sheets to the wind, and we had a very nice bonding session in the back of that cab, purely platonic, I hasten to add. But much to my consternation, my dad prioritised his fare over dropping.
They're paying customers.
Fine. He literally drove past my house.
Oh, that's a piss take. All right, fair enough.
Fucking Stansted.
I mean,
for those of you unfamiliar with the geography, that's about an hour and 20 minutes past my house, and then an hour and 20 minutes back. So so he did rescue me. I did get home at 6 a.m. I had to be up at 7, back into work the next day. So not the ideal. But anyway, that gives you a flavour of the man. You call him, he will be there. And he'll never let me down, ever. So when he messages me, I'm of course primed to return those many favours. And there's not enough time left in the universe for me to be able to do that. However, if you WhatsApp me to sort something out that I don't really know what to do, whether it's like log into an account or something like that, to be fair, he says, "Can you do this for me? Let me know if you've got any problems." It appears that after he sends that message, he turns his phone off, puts it in a cupboard, shuts the door, and doesn't look at it for another 4 dadays.
Faraday cage, no signal.
No signal, nothing. Because I immediately leap into action, of course. You know, I, as I say, to repay that debt. But you've got to stay online, surely, for longer than 2 seconds. Like, the message came through, I phoned him back immediately. He even said online. Even said online on the thing.
If that was if you were of the age and you were dating and you saw that's you're being ghosted.
Yeah. Phone, no answer. I have to message the family group chat to to say, someone get Dad to look at his phone, will you? And I know, like, often it's in his fucking hand. Maybe it's the font he uses. He's of that. I don't know if you've seen some of the fonts that older people have.
Oh, God.
It's like one letter per screen at the moment.
Oh, but massive. But my dad is of the when it comes to that, it's a different ball game. They believe that the minute they wake up, like for instance, on a weekend, routine is whatever we're doing. My chill out time. I've got a lovely place I go near us. It's natural. I take the dogs. I put my headphones in. I'm an only child. I need my me time, as we've discussed. So the girls know. The girls go to the stables. They do the horses. They go for a ride. I just go out and chill out with. My dad knows this. He will call at 8:30 every morning. Even though I say to him, Dad, golf competition today. I'll call you 8:30. But if I don't answer, 8:38, 8:40, and then I have to, which breaks my then peaceful mood. And I have to, because I can't speak to him because you've experienced sometimes when I snap with him,
Yes.
how that conversation goes. She has to message him, and I'll phone him after the walk or golf or whatever, and I go, I've told you not to phone. Yeah, but I told you. But you just know, and his answer for everything, you could use this thing called, he goes, oh, I don't know. That's his answer for everything. I don't know. Like, just his get out of jail free card.
Why did you call me? I don't know.
Because he wants to talk about the football the night before that I watched. And he wants to dissect it. Or like this morning, it was, Mum's feeling better today. Well, I was going to give you a call in half an hour, but you know I've got some important stuff. That's what you get. That's what you get. And how do you answer that?
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because as I hinted at before, I feel in such debt to my parents because of that I'm loath to pie them off. But sometimes you've got to do it.
Sometimes they got to get both barrels.
Sometimes your dad can be a little bit provocative.
Yeah, he knows how to push my buttons.
How old we are slapping the face. We've had the Back to the Future episode from a few days ago. Now I discover that my McDonald's order, on the rare occasions that I go to, is that of a mum and dad. I ordered despite my despite my adherence to diet and what have you, still do go to McDonald's about once a month. I would say a little treat. Ordered a quarter pounder with cheese meal.
No, wrong. It's an old person's order straight away.
That's what I've been told.
No, it's an old person's order.
I'm basically a boomer. Right. Let's see. I've got a quiz here.
Go on.
I've got a quiz here. You can say, basically, I'm going to ask you. So my McDonald's age came out at over 60.
Once you start with a quarter pounder, it's only one way you can go.
Right, let's see.
Big Mac, right? Back in my fat pants days about a year ago. And I can't. Big Mac, large fries, order a milkshake, but the machine's not working.
Right,
so you go, Diet Coke.
No, you don't say another word.
And then what you get is a little hamburger on the side, hamburger chaser. And I couldn't work out what I put on Forstone.
Well, I've put your orders into the algorithm. So
where is there an actual?
Scientific, definitely scientific. Not something from quizlady.com.
Go on.
Right. So, how often do you go?
Rare. Genuinely rarely.
Burger. You say Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Right. What's your favourite thing from the dollar menu? I think you can say fries, salad, ice cream cone, cheeseburger, nuggets. But you're going fries, aren't you?
No, go nuggets.
Nuggets.
Chicken nuggets are banging for McDonald's.
Dessert. What dessert are you going for?
McFlurry. Machine's not working.
Breakfast item. What are you going for?
Oh, it's a double sausage and egg McMuffin, but...
Yeah, I'm a McMuffin person as well. Coffee? Do you go for coffees? I
don't mind the coffee, actually.
All right, what about milkshake flavour? Chocolate, vanilla?
Banana.
It's not an option. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Get water. No.
Chocolate,
vanilla.
What size fries are you going for?
Large.
Calculating your score.
Go on.
In your 30s.
Get in. See?
When I put it in, it told me I was 65. I ain't changing. Fuck 'em.
By the way, you need to see the new golf shoes I bought. I'm going to send you a photo of these.
Social media, that's what we need.
Even
Get on
your
the socials.
I'll get them on the socials, but even your right. Tell me your thoughts of these, because even your dad might think he's a rascal.
Well, that is a high bar indeed, because I've seen pictures of him wearing one white Puma and one red Puma on alternate feet. So
he's like the Darren Huckabee of Essex Golf. I've just sent you the pictures.
I think he would resist that description, if I'm honest.
I'd like to point out to our younger listeners, back in the 90s, there was a player for Coventry City called Darren Huckabee who used to wear one Nike boot and one Puma King. And I still state to this day, Google it, Puma King, barring the Adidas Copa Mondial, is the finest football boot ever created.
So, as you say, the second best football boot ever made.
Yeah. I've just sent you the pictures of my new golf shoes.
Right,
tell me your thoughts live.
Well, I have to say, they're not totally dissimilar in vibe to a Sketcher.
What do you mean?
The shape of them, they're very Sketcher-like. They look very, slip them on without...
It cost me 200 bar, or as every time I misses 60 quid.
So these are the same price
They're
as
G4s. Yeah. G4s they are.
I don't understand what that means. So the redeeming features from these Sketcher style golf shoes
Skechers
are the fact it's got embossed on it skull and crossbones, because you're like a pirate, aren't you? You're like a pirate of golf.
I'm an edgy golfer.
Yeah. Well, as you know, oh look, the back's got a little bit of pink on it.
I knew you'd pick up on that.
I'm not against pink by any means, but as
spikes, got spikes on them.
I'm getting increasingly resistant to the whole golf chat.
Yeah, but I was there the day you broke. Mark ladies and gentlemen, Mark hates golf with the very core of his soul these days.
It's not golf I don't like, it's golfers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I hit the ball, I hit it again, then it didn't go in the hole, then it did go in the hole.
You can reduce any sport to that.
I would rather hear about people's dreams than their round of golf.
Oh, don't get me started. Now you've touched a nerve. Now you've touched.
Just saying, I'm glad you enjoy it. I don't want to hear about it.
You're not glad.
Well, some of it's performative, but I am glad that you have a lovely time, that you get out and you ruin your own walks and don't include me.
Well, on our WhatsApp group the other day, we mentioned about we want to plan a trip to maybe Turkey, Marbella. Mark could come with silence. He hasn't even responded.
It's just a ridiculous proposition. That's right. I could go around and watch you. I'm going to burn all that internal political capital to go away. This is getting worse. so, of course, there's some political capital that you have to burn to go away for the weekend, especially if it's costs a few quid and you're going abroad. So I have to tell my wife that's what's happening. Oh, what are you going to do while you're there? You're going away with your friends? Yeah, but for about 8 hours during the day, I'm going to be on my own around the pool.
When you put it like that, all right, I can see where you're coming from.
Well, I hope you have a very lovely time.
I'll put you down as a maybe.
Well, maybe we are at the end of our episode today. We'd love to hear everything about your life as well. Please get in touch with us. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of shit that the algorithms of various platforms like. Don't really know how they work, and not really going to look into it either. But yeah, so get in touch with us, and or Mum, Dad's got another tattoo at gmail.com. Keep up with bullshit about handicaps and fucking Christ knows what else.
Send them to me.
Yeah, Richard be interested. I, on the other hand, will not.
It's not a little middle-aged society. Be nice.
Yeah, that's called golfers.
Oh, yeah. Touche.
So get in touch with us about all subjects, including golf, if you very must. But until then, we will see you later. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.